storm, didn't know the ship was, basically traveling around the sea without, they didn't even know where they were going because of the storm. And they ended up on an island. They sat in a small rowing boat and landed on the island. They were met by a beast with a great deal of hair, and they could not distinguish his face from his back because he was so hairy. Okay. Um, they said, "Woe to you, and what are you?" It said, "I am Al Jassasa." They said, what is Al Jassasa?" It said, "People go to this man in the monastery, and he is keen to know about you." Okay. Anyway, the narrator said, when it named the man for us, we were afraid of it lest it be a devil. Then we set off rushing until we came to the monastery, where we found the hugest man we had ever seen. Okay, so basically they saw this beast named Al Jassasa, and Al Jassasa was like, "Go talk to the man who's inside." Um, and when they walked in, they found the biggest man they've ever seen, bound strongly by chains, with his hands tied to his neck and his legs bound from the knees to the ankles with iron shackles. Okay, so there's a man in here who's just tied up all around. We said, "Woe to you, who are you?" He said, "You will soon find out about me. Tell me who you are," they said. "We are people from Arabia." So the guy who's locked up, he's asking, "Who are you?" They said, "We are from Arabia, who embarked on a ship, but the sea became wild and the waves tossed us about for 1 month. Then they brought us to this island of yours. We took to the rowing boats and landed on this island. We were met by a beast with a great deal of hair, and we could not tell his front from his back. We said, "Woe to you, what are you?" It said, "I am Al Jassasa." We said, "What is Al Jassasa?" It said, "Go to this man inside, and he will tell you." So we came rushing to, and we fled from it because we could not be sure that it was not a devil. Okay, so now that this chained person said, "Tell me about the date palm trees of Baisan." We said, "What do you want to know about them?" He said, "I am asking whether these trees bear fruit." We said, "Yes." He said, "Soon they will not bear fruit." He said, "Tell me about Tiberius." We said, "What do you want to know about it?" He said, "Is there water in it?" They said, there is a great deal of water in it." He said, "Soon it will dry up." Then he said, "Tell me about the spring of Zur, which is in south of Syria." They said, "What do you want to know about it?" He said, "Is there water in the spring, and do the people grow crops with the water of the spring?" We said to him, "Yes, there's plenty of water in it, and the people grow crops with its water." He said, "Tell me about the prophet of the unlettered. What has he done?" We said, "He has left Mecca and has settled in Medina." He he said, do the Arabs fight against him?" We said, "Yes." He said, "How did he deal with them?" We told him that he had prevailed over the Arabs in his vicinity and they had shown obedience to him. He said to us, "Has it really happened?" We said, "Yes." He said, "If it is so that it is better for them that they show obedience to him, now I will tell you about myself." Okay, so this person here is basically asking, is basically telling what's going to happen in the future. Meaning, he asks, is there water here? Is there crops growing here? Is this there? Is this there? Because when he's going to come in the future, the Dajjal's going to come in the future, he's going to like take away all these things. Okay. So now the Dajjal is saying that himself, "I am the Dajjal, and soon I will be permission to emerge. So I will come out and travel in the land and will not spare my town, any town, but I will stay for 40 nights except Mecca and Medina, because they're forbidden to me. Every time I try to enter one of them, I will be met by an angel with a sword." Okay, remember we talked about this, that the Dajjal will go every single place in the world except Medina and Mecca because angels will be guarding it. Okay. In his hand, who will bar my way? On every route, there'll be angels guarding it. She said, "Then the messenger of Allah struck the minbar with a staff and said, 'This is Taiba, this is Taiba, this is Taiba,' meaning Medina. Did I not tell you this before?" The people said, "Yes." "I like the story of Tamim because it agrees with what I used to tell you about him and about Makkah and Medina, but he is in Syrian Sea or the Yemeni Sea. No, rather he's in the east. He's in the east. He pointed to the east. I remember." Okay. So this is just the hadith from a Sahaba, not even Sahaba, like it's from a Sahaba who said to another Sahaba, who said to another Sahaba, something like that. So this, it could be, 100% accurate. It could not be. But this is a story about, someone getting lost on sea, reaching an island, and then finding Dajjal there. And Dajjal telling, that he will come and then he is the Dajjal and things like that. Okay. So this is one of the only hadiths we have that we know that Dajjal could be alive at this moment. Okay. So something like I was talking about yeah, not even something I'm talking about, like how actually no, I was talking about this when we talked about last week, Yajuj and Majuj. How there's people actually saw the like wall in real life, but they obviously they didn't do anything about the wall. The wall just disappears. Okay, so same thing like this. The Dajjal could be alive right now. He can't. He could. Maybe he's not. Who knows? Anyways, now let's go back. So the cause of his appearance. Ibn Umar said, I met Ibn Sa'id on one of the roads of Medina, and I said something to him that made him angry. He was so swollen with anger that the way was blocked. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu entered upon Hafsa bint Umar radiallahu anhu, who had already heard about it, and she said to him, May Allah have mercy on you. What do you want from Ibn Sa'id? Do you not know that the Messenger of Allah said he will emerge because of a single instance of anger? Okay. So Rasulullah has said that Dajjal, he'll emerge. When he'll emerge, it was because he'll be angry. Dajjal will only he'll come because he is angry. That's why being angry is it's not a good thing. Just exactly what she's saying. Sahaba got mad at another Sahaba, and then Hafsa anha was like, why are you mad at him? Don't you know that Rasulullah said Dajjal will come because a single instant of anger. Dajjal will get angry once and he will come out. Okay, so he will travel rapidly around the world. The Prophet ﷺ was asked about the speed with which the Dajjal will travel through the earth. He said, like a cloud driven by the wind. What is meant is that Dajjal will travel rapidly through all regions of earth. Jabir radiallahu anhu narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said that Dajjal will emerge when people's religious commitment are low and they have turned away from knowledge. He will have 40 days during which he will travel about one day like a year, one day like a month, like we talked about, one day like a week, and the rest of his days will be just like our days. He will have a donkey. Oh, yeah. So this is okay. So pay attention to this one. He will have a donkey, and the distance between its ears will be 40 cubits or 40 feet. He will come to the people and say, I am your Lord, but your Lord is not one-eyed. Written between his eyes will be the letters Kaf, Fa, and every believer will read. Yes.
I have to go.
Okay, go. And every believer will read it, whether he's literate or illiterate. He will pass by every water source except Medina and Mecca, which Allah will forbid to him, and angels will stand at 3 gates. Okay, so the part right here, donkey and the distance between ears will be 40 feet. So from what I've read before, is this could basically just be an airplane in today's day. Okay? An airplane in today's day is what? Is like, is basically at that time, the rides were what? Donkeys and camels, right? So an airplane, and the distance between its ears, which is its wings, or whatever they're called on an airplane, the thing, the wings that it has, 40 feet. So that's what it could be. Like, what else can you use to travel around the world really fast and like a cloud driven by the wind? Like you're literally in the clouds, in the wind. What do you call it? Flying. So that could be what he will be using, and that's what Prophet ﷺ predicted. And also the Gafara will be it'll be every believer who could read, who can't read, they'll all be able to see it. Okay. So places to which the Dajjal will go. Anas narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said there is no city but we'll read this. Okay. On the roads leading to Medina, there are angels, the plague, and the Dajjal will never enter it. He said the Dajjal will come from the east heading towards Medina until he comes and camps behind Uhud. According to another narration, he'll climb Uhud and look towards Prophet Mosque and will say to his followers who are around him, do you see the White Palace? Meaning the Prophet's Mosque. Then he comes behind Uhud, he will be met by angels who will turn his face towards Syria, which is where he will perish. Okay, so there's actually so I think that's what it's talking about here. Yeah, so on Mount Uhud, right? When you stand there in today's age, you can actually see you could see Prophet's Mosque. Okay, if you look at the picture down here, this is how it looks like. It's just a huge, it just looks like a huge white palace, and he'll be standing on this, like I think this mountain right here in the corner, and he'll be looking over. And he'll be talking to his followers that, do you see this white palace over there? And then he's going to try to go towards it, but then the angels will kick him out. Okay, this is just talking about the same thing over and over again. Okay, there we go. So Uzaifa ibn al-Yaman radiallahu anhu narrated that the Prophet said he will have with him a garden and a fire. But his fire will be a garden and his garden will be a fire. So, just how we talked about the water, fire, is the opposite. Jannah, Jahannam, those opposite things that he has here. So, he said he will have with him water, but his fire will be cool water, and his water will be fire. He said, I know what the Dajjal will have with him. He will have two flowing rivers, one that appears to the eye to be clear water, and one which appears to the eye to be flaming fire. If anyone sees that, let him go to the river which he thinks is fire. Okay, so Dajjal is all about trickery. He's gonna have fire and water. Water is obviously the bad one, and fire is the good one. Same thing with the rivers. The flowing river, the flowing water river will be the bad one, and the flowing fire river will be the good one. So he's gonna just basically try to trick people all over the world. According to another narration, let him. Okay, this is the same exact thing again. Okay, there we go. He will be able to influence inanimate objects and animals. Al-Nawas ibn Saman narrated that the Prophet said, he will come to the people and call him, and they will believe in him. Then he will command the sky and it will rain. And he will command the earth and will bring forth produce. Their herds will come back to them in the evening with their humps as high as they ever were, and their udders full and flanks stretched. Then he will come to another people and call them. They will reflect what he says, so he will leave them, and they will be afflicted with drought, which they destroy their land and crops. He will pass by ruins and say, bring forth your treasure. Its treasure will follow him like a swarm of bees. Okay, so basically every single person he tricks, right? What he's gonna do is he's gonna command that area that he's gonna command the sky in that area, sorry, to rain, and it will rain, and then he'll command that area to like make all the like the crops and everything, all the plants, food, everything to grow, and they'll start growing. He'll command the animals, and the animals will get bigger, and produce more produce more meat, produce more milk. Okay. And then the people and the places where they the opposite won't fall for his tricks. So like basically the Muslim areas where he's gonna say his water, fire things, but they're not gonna believe in him, right? He's gonna basically do the opposite what he's doing to the non-Muslim. He's gonna tell the rain not to come. He's gonna tell crops to not grow. Same with the animals. The animals will get skinny. And then whenever he's gonna pass by ruins, like just by any ruins, like any old city, anything, he's gonna make the treasure come up from the ground. Okay, he will say to the Bedouin means people who live in the desert. So literally, people who live in the desert are called Bedouins. What do you think? If I resurrect your father and mother for you, will you bear witness that I am your Lord? He will say yes. Okay, so if the Dajjal is gonna say to him, if I bring your mother and father back from the dead, will you think I'm your Lord? He's gonna say yes. Then two devils will appear to him in the form of his father and mother and will say, oh my son, follow him, for he is your Lord. Okay, they're not actually gonna be his mother and father. Obviously, he's not gonna actually bring someone back from the dead. It's gonna be basically they're gonna be devils, which probably are jinns, that are gonna look like his parents, and then the parents, like the devils, you could say, are gonna talk and say, as the Bedouin's parents, that he's gonna say, he is your Lord, follow him. Okay. Then what else will he do? He will call a youthful man and sever him in two. Okay, a random person, he will come and like slice him in half. Then the Dajjal will say to the people, look at this slave of mine. I should resurrect him, and he will claim that he has a Lord other than me. The Dajjal will then command him to rise alive, and you'll get up. He will have been given life by Allah and not the Dajjal. But the Dajjal will think that he brought him back to life and placed the two severed halves back together again. Then the evil one will say, who is your Lord? He, the man, will say, my Lord is Allah, and you are the enemy of Allah, you are the Dajjal. Okay, so Dajjal, what he's gonna do is gonna cut someone in half, and he's gonna say, everyone look, I'm gonna bring him back to life. But what's gonna happen is Allah is gonna bring him back to life. Okay, and Dajjal is gonna think that he brought him back to life, right? And then when he brings him back to life, he's gonna say, who is your Lord? And then he's gonna say, Allah is my Lord, and you're my enemy. Okay. Okay, that he will have a mountain of bread and food at a time when there will be starvation in the world. Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah narrated, no one asked the Messenger of Allah about the Dajjal more than me. I asked him about him, and he said, my son, why are you concerned about him? He will never harm you. I said, there are sayings that he will have a river of water and a mountain of bread. He said he is too insignificant before Allah for that. Okay, so basically this is saying that he will the saying that he will have a mountain of bread and food at the time when there will be starvation in the world is false. Like, he won't have that. So it's a false hadith, so you could say, or something. Okay. Undoubtedly, the Dajjal will be with his ability to tempt and confuse and his very use of various methods of misguiding people, attracting them to follow him. So basically, he uses trickery to make people follow him. That's what his main uses of getting people to follow him. It's trickery. Anas ibn Malik narrated that the Prophet said 70,000 Jews of Isfahan will follow the Dajjal wearing shawl-like garments. Shawl-like garments, like basically like this. Just how basically almost how Arabs just wear, like, things over them. Okay, we don't need to know about this. We just
How much more
this.
pages are we reading? How much more pages are we reading?
I don't know. Okay. Okay, so we also talked about how long the Dajjal will stay for. How do we save from that? Okay, so there we go. How do we save from the turmoil of the Dajjal? So we just talked about, how he looks like. Oh, we didn't talk about what he looks like. So we talked about, where he'll come from, how long he'll stay. Okay, so now how do we save from him? Imran ibn Hussein narrated that the Prophet said, whoever hears of the Dajjal, let him go far away from him. By Allah, a man will come to him thinking that he is a believer, and he will follow him because of the confusion that he causes him. Okay. The Dajjal basically, once again, just trickery and all the confusion will just make literally, even Muslims will start following just because of the confusion. The meaning of the hadith is that whoever hears of the emergence of the Dajjal should keep far away from him and not go near him, because a man will come to the Dajjal thinking that he has strong faith, then will become one of his followers and supporters because of the confusion that the Dajjal will cause in him through the use of magic, bringing the dead back to life, and so on. Okay, this is basically saying just go as far as you can from the Dajjal, even if you're a Muslim, because some Muslims will become his followers because they'll get tricked. Like some Muslims, the Dajjal's gonna be like, oh, you want to see your parents? Like, he's gonna say yes. He's gonna bring back, he's gonna pretend like his parents are back, and then the Muslim is gonna start following the Dajjal. Or through the use of any other magic, the Dajjal will make him follow him. Okay. Okay, and Abdul Darda narrated that Prophet said, whoever memorizes 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf will be protected from the turmoil of the Dajjal. Okay, so always on every Friday, read 10 ayahs, first 10 ayahs, and last 10 ayahs, or read all of Surah Kahf, and just memorize 10 ayahs of Surah Kahf. Okay, because it will save you from the Dajjal later on. You'll be saved from his confusion, his trickery, and everything. Okay. There was one more thing I wanted to go before we. Okay, so we already read about this. There's nothing too much. Okay, there we go. The last thing I wanted to talk about was his looks, because we didn't really give that much detail in the first book that we read. Where is it? It's right here. Okay, so something that will precede his appearance. Rashid ibn Sa'd said, when Astakhar was conquered, a caller called out that the Dajjal has appeared. Sa'd ibn Juthama met them and said, if you did not say that, I would not have told you that I heard the Messenger say that the Dajjal will not appear until people forget about him and the Imam stop mentioning him on the minbar. So the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Messenger of Allah said that the Dajjal will only appear when people forget about him. People stop talking about him. Even like nowadays, you barely hear about the Dajjal anymore, right? No one of the imams at the masjid, they barely talk about him too. Minbar is the place where where the imam stands or sits, like that thing. That's what the mimbar is. So Imams will start mentioning him, people start talking about Dajjal. That's when Dajjal will appear. So if someone says Dajjal has appeared, you just need to know that it's obviously false, because he won't just appear. Well, he's not gonna. That's not what I mean. Sorry, he's not gonna appear when people are like, still remember him. Physical description of Dajjal. This. He will be short and will walk with his toes turned in and a gap between his calves. Okay, so he'll be short. He will have curly hair, neither fine nor straight. His hair will be thick. He'll be blind in one eye, which will look like a floating grape. So like his eyelid part basically will be hanging. He will be blind in one eye. Oh, wait, that he will be one-eyed and his left eye will not function. Okay, so one eye will be covered by his one eye will be one eye will be covered by his eyelid, like hanging like a grape, and the other eye will not work. So he will only have one eye, but even that eye won't work. He will be white. So basically, white is like very pale. I don't know if you ever seen like pale Arabs. They're like red, you could say. Like their skin color is literally like almost like really whitish red. So that's how he's gonna look like. He will have a wide forehead. Written between his eyes will be the letters Kaf, Fa, Ra. Every believer will be able to read it, whether he's literate or illiterate. Okay, if you can read, if you can't read, you still will be able to see the Kaf, Fa, Ra. Okay. So to sum it up, Dajjal, he'll be a short man with a large build. Okay, so he'll be short, but he'll be like really big, and he'll have a very big head, big forehead. Both of his eyes will have defects. Okay, one eye will be covered and one eye will be blind. The right eye will be blind and looking. The left eye will have skin over it. He will have thick curly hair, white skin, and a wide gap between his shins or thighs, and between his eyes will be written the words Gafin. Okay, and that's okay how the jaw is gonna be looking like. So something like this, like curly hair like this. Obviously, the color could be a bit different, but his curve will be basically like that. Okay. Now, okay, yeah, we did. So that's okay. So that's how the actual talk about the Dajjal. Because first we just talked. There was like a few points we talked about. This is basically everything that we talked about. So, I wasn't here when you guys were talking about your presentation. So, how far are you guys into the presentation? Who has started?
If I have to go.
Okay, you can go. Who has started the presentation? Anyone? Okay. Okay, so yeah, Noor, Navia.
We started a little.
Okay, so it's fine. So I just wanted to know the progress, because people, well, at least in my class, like people take a little bit long doing the presentation. Okay, so that's good. You should be started by now at least, and try to finish it by next week or the week after. But the faster you do it, obviously you won't drag it on. Second thing is the minor signs. The people who haven't done it, just do it. It's not that hard. I already gave you the link of the book. There's so many minor signs. There's 130 minor signs in there, and with examples. So if you find an example of a minor sign that you see in your daily life or in the world in this day and age, then just write it down on a piece of paper. Just write, this is this minor sign, and this is the example I see in today's world. You don't have to, write huge, make a huge presentation or anything. Just do that. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanaka bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun alal mursalin, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.